I'm getting psyched.
I'm so not psyched. So this is really hard for me right now.
Well, I'll get you psyched. I'll get you psyched.
I'm not that psyched.
Dude, I have something that's going to blow your mind. Kind of. It's going to be very underwhelming. Dude, it's going to get wild.
It's going to get bonkers.
We got a lot to talk about.
Max's
and then I also need
goth prom. For those of you who are seeing his wearing off tatted arms.
Yeah, it's wearing off most on the inner bicep.
And for those of you who don't know this, Max DJs a annual goth.
It's the only thing I DJ now.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it was crazy. It's wild what DJ software can do. When I was DJing in like my early 20s, it was very rudimentary.
Yeah,
but still fun.
Basic. Yeah,
you found lots of clever ways to do cool stuff. The best thing of the night, I was playing "Forgot About Me" by Dr. Dre, featuring Eminem.
Right.
And when Eminem's verse starts, I cut out the samples and the melodies from Forgot About Dre. So it's just the vocals and the drums.
Right.
And brought in Do You Believe in Love by Cher.
Okay.
Believe by Cher.
Yeah.
Without her vocals.
Yeah.
And it got so good.
People were like,
it was
my
so
brain is melting.
Good. And then let that play through until Eminem had stopped rapping. And then brought in that Chapel Roan song, Hot to Go, which is in the same key and tempo as the Cher Believe song.
Yeah.
The girls in the audience's minds exploded because they were already like hyped on Cher. And then to have Hot to Go come in, everyone was like, what? It was. And then just imagine them all dressed up as really scary goth people.
Yeah. Yes. I'm glad you revived the crown this year.
And every year someone comes up to me because it's a goth prom. I put that in quotes because people just wanted. We're just dressing up as goth.
Yeah, you're mostly just for like a Halloween thing.
It's a Halloween party.
It's not like you have to be goth to participate.
Yeah, and it's not goth music because if I played goth music all night long, it would be a terrible dance party.
Yeah.
Or just like sad, like like 80s goth is terrible.
Yeah, it's not great.
And like it sells out, and the line around the venue is like down and around the block. It's crazy. Every year someone comes up to me this year, near the very end, some girl came up to me and like held out her phone and a message just like goth music ...
And you were like,
and I'm like, I'll try.
You're like you text back and you're like, there's the door. And you pointed back.
Yeah. I was like, how about Cher and Chapel Roan?
You're like,
is that good enough?
Record base. Get 70 miles per gallon on this fucker.
is that Glock?
Follow you, dude.
All I had to say was father, and you were checked out already.
Do you know
no, I don't, and I'm
you know
excited.
What I'm laughing about?
No.
With George Russell's outburst this last race,
I must have missed it.
I forget what it was. It was near the end. It was something like George, whatever, drive safe, or like George, stop track limits. It was like enough track limits, and he was like, "What?"
Yeah,
and that was
did.
it. What? Yeah, what? It was high pitched.
You're like, how'd you do that in a helmet?
I was dying.
I'm like, that microphone.
Dude, here's the surprise this week. I've been holding on to this for a few days, so it hasn't been in my position very long. I got this. In the mail. Addressed to the Haas boys. I have a suspicion who it's from.
It says KC on
from
it.
Kansas.
From Kansas City.
Yeah. I have a suspicion who it's from.
Okay.
I don't know if he's allowed us to open this on the podcast. But,
but we're going to.
I think this is from, this is from our longtime fan, Kyle. Oh, he's getting married, and this is his wedding invitation.
Congratulations, Kyle. It's amazing.
Mr. and Mrs. Oh, we won't read that.
Yes.
But yeah. He's getting married. And
that's amazing.
Congrats to Kyle. So maybe we'll send along Haas merch that we bootleg, like his hat.
Yeah, or maybe we'll make some of our own for once, and we'll send it to you.
Maybe we'll fly out and join him for cocktail hour.
That would be
ruin the party.
It's just like we'll do our next episode at Kyle's wedding.
At cocktail hour at Kyle's wedding and just kind of steal the spotlight.
I think this is a great idea.
Yeah, so thanks, Kyle.
Thanks for inviting us, Kyle.
For sure. So yeah, congrats on the marriage. I hope it all goes well. And I think we'll send along a gift or something.
Registered at the Haas F1 store?
Yeah. The Haas has a registry now. Haas merch.
Okay. Good to know.
You can only get K-Mag and Nico stuff. It's really bad for the bride.
Yeah.
The groom loves it.
The group's really stoked.
Yeah, I was stoked to get that in the mail. I remember him asking for my address ages ago. And so when I got it, I was like, this has to be this. So,
congratulations.
super fun.
It's a big step.
Yeah, we love when fans send stuff in. Speaking of Haas, I mean, we used to be the Haas boys because we
Yes.
love Haas.
Yes.
Have I told you this hat gets more compliments than any hat I've ever wear?
I know. And you know what's the best part of that?
What?
Is that like it would take them 2 seconds to rip off this idea. And
Because
they
it
should.
took me 2 seconds to find an Etsy person to do this.
Well, and they have a new era sponsor, so like the cap shape and everything is already just like done deal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Haas, just make the hat.
Just make this hat.
Just make the hat.
I get compliments everywhere.
It is.
And
it
I
is
wear
a rad
lots of
hat.
hats because I shave my head. I'm bald. And I think it's as Formula 1's getting more popular. People out of stores, airports. Yeah, it's crazy. Restaurants. Like, oh, that's a cool hat. Speaking of which, dude, Haas is in 6th place.
Crushing.
They stepped it up this weekend at the U.S. Grand Prix.
The best home race that I can remember.
Yeah. They got points in the sprint and in the thing.
Right.
And in the big one.
And then and then in the thing, the big thing.
The big race.
And the one that's actually the race.
The really long race.
Yeah. Kevin finished 11th, but Hulk finished in the points.
8th, I think.
Yeah.
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 So cool.
Great result.
Yeah, they finally passed V-Carb, which we had been expecting for a while.
Yeah, we've been waiting for that.
Yeah, so great.
It's so awesome.
Anything to say on that?
I mean, I think that I've been saying it for a while, and you know, may he rest in peace, Gunter, wherever you are.
Yeah.
Are
you here?
I
feel the spirit of Gunter.
Gunter. I'm so sorry. Ayao's killing it.
He is.
He's killing it.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this on the drive over, like, what are we going to talk about? And I started thinking about Gunter and Ayao Komatsu, and I was like, Ayao is pulling in sponsors that are legit sponsors. Gunter, he did his best.
Rich energy?
Yeah, but at the time, Formula 1 wasn't as big.
That's true.
The team is way more valuable now.
Right.
But still, Ayao Komatsu is crushing it.
Well, and that brings up the big news for Haas, which is that Toyota Gazoo Racing is now already on the spoiler.
Did you just sneeze? What you're saying, Toyota and racing?
Toyota Gazoo Racing. Excuse me. Yeah, that's what GR stands for. It's Gazoo Racing.
Gazoo Racing?
Yeah.
Gazoo?
Toyota Gazoo Racing. So TRD is a total made-up American turd.
Toyota Racing Development.
Yeah, it's a total made-up thing that Toyota never...
No, dude.
They never,
Forerunner.
Yeah, exactly.
Toyota Racing Development.
Yeah, did you know that they never even made the Forerunner? That was a car that was developed by a dealership.
No.
And then they were like, oh, we should probably make that.
It's a great car.
The Hilux Surf, which became essentially the Forerunner, but it was like a dealership being like, you could throw a top on the back of your truck.
And they're like, oh.
And they're like, people want that? And they made the Forerunner.
And now it's everywhere.
And now it's the top selling car in Utah.
It's the most indestructible like SUV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. We don't know that about our state. It's literally the most common vehicle here.
For real. Yeah.
So, but anyways, Toyota Gazoo Racing is their official like BMW M or AMG division.
Awesome.
And so when you see GR on one of their...
The Corolla GR.
Yeah, that's the GR hatchback is Gazoo Racing.
Cool. So what does this mean for Haas? They have Toyota money now?
I mean...
It's not a Toyota engine.
They're spending money on them, so yes.
How is it a Ferrari engine with a Toyota sponsorship?
Okay, so this is where I think things are going to... My opinion might rub people the wrong way. Just know that this comes from the Haas fan in my heart. Yes.
It's
my Haas
It's not
fandom.
your heart.
Yes.
It's the...
Yeah, it's my heart.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'll put it this way. When I started to diss a little bit on like the Esteban Ocon
we're still
acquisition,
bitter. I'm still bitter.
That this comes from the same place.
Okay, yeah.
Concern for the team.
Right.
Its well-being. Now, here's the thing that they're saying is that Toyota is bringing obvious finance to the team. They're sponsoring.
Yep.
But also a technical backing. They want to support the team in a technical way.
Okay.
Now, historically, the team is a Ferrari
engine supplier, sister feeder thingy,
because
Maranello.
They even acquired part of a Maranello division that Ferrari used to have prior to the budget cap.
Ollie Behrman's driving for both.
Right. And there is a lot of synergy between the two companies at the moment.
Yeah.
This is a big change and something that I see being look, Haas has pushed forward. I don't doubt Ayao at all in the sense of what he's doing.
Yeah.
But it sounds like at the moment, that's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
It does, yeah.
Like Dallara, Ferrari, Toyota. That's a lot of people disagreeing on how this thing should go.
For real, yeah.
And if there is technical intervention from Toyota and their name is going to be on the car and Ferrari is not.
Yeah.
They're probably going to want to put their foot down and say, well, we're paying for this.
Yeah, how is this happening?
Yeah. So it seems to me like the only reason that I have any concern over this is that I'm excited about the opportunity.
Yeah.
This is Toyota's only car that they're worried about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just want them to be full on.
Yeah, we want a Toyota power unit.
I want it to be a Toyota.
We have Io Komatsu.
Yeah.
And we want a Toyota power unit and no Ferrari.
Yeah. I if I were going to make a decision at this point would be to pivot into the Toyota.
Yes.
Even though the Ferrari relationship has been stellar.
Yeah, it's been great.
We've had great success with that.
Mm-hmm.
I trust Ayao to push this with all of the genius at Toyota in a direction that's really successful.
I think the Toyota thing makes more sense to me than a Ferrari partnership in that in America, lots of Toyotas.
I was going to say, we have a lot more Toyotas than Ferraris.
For sure. And if it's an American team, it's like it's still not an American power unit, but it's what we got everywhere.
At least Toyota's in NASCAR.
I drive a Japanese car. It's not Toyota, but lots of people do.
A Honda.
I trust it, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. It's very reliable and affordable.
Right.
And Haas is not an expensive team.
No.
We need reliability and we need affordability.
Yeah.
So that's where I can see the merger happening and being synergistic.
Right. So, I mean, look, I think it's more a matter of lean in the direction of Ferrari and continue that way.
Yeah.
Or lean in the direction of Toyota. But the limbo seems like a dangerous place to be.
Yeah.
And that's the concern.
Yes.
I kind of just wish it was more like, and we're now Toyota.
Uh-huh.
I would be like, whoa, that's rad.
Yeah.
Haas Toyota, I'm all for it.
So cool.
So, anyways, but I think either way, it's probably going to mean great things for the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably simplifying what this actually means for the team.
Maybe. I don't know.
And it could be amazing.
I do know. What did Hülkenberg say that Haas is going to be even more like deadly and competitive next year? Like they got crazy things in the pipe.
Yeah.
I think every team says that about themselves.
Right.
But the trajectory of Haas right now seems like he's not lying.
No, I mean, if I were a Visa Cash App employee, that's in Faenza.
Yeah.
And Haas has opportunities opening.
Yeah.
And they've got all this energy and direction and positivity around it. I'd be tempted to go there.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the team that seems to be moving forward.
Yeah.
And Red Bull sort of hates us. So I'm going to go over there.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is if you work at Visa Cash App RV and you're looking for a job, I know some people.
Do you?
Put you in touch.
Speaking of Red Bull, I don't even know what our outline is for today.
We don't have one.
Dude, speaking of Red Bull.
Too much to talk about.
Thank heavens they got rid of Daniel Ricciardo. Because obviously...
Hot take. This is not the one we expected from Max.
Obviously, he was the wink link in the Red Bull actual team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They are sinking like a stone in the constructors.
Yep.
And finally, now that Daniel Ricciardo's gone from Visa Cash App, they're going to take off.
Yeah, they're just soaring.
Daniel Ricciardo has barely been outperforming Yuki Tsunoda.
Right.
And that's not what we want.
No, we couldn't possibly have that.
That it must be the reason why Sergio isn't performing well.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the problem.
So I've just been so thankful.
Yeah.
That's the big news around F1 that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet.
No, we haven't talked about it.
And I'm just so ecstatic. Because Red Bull finally is going to get their stuff together.
Yeah.
They finally weeded out the last bit of
trouble.
Yeah. And
I mean, Sergio had so much time in the car this weekend. He was eating Cheetos during the race.
So much.
So many Cheetos. It was all over his face after the race.
What the heck was that? I put that on Instagram as a joke, but also I don't know what it is. And people were like, it was the fluid.
It was like
the
a sports drink.
I'm like, was it?
Yeah, I'm like, I've never had Gatorade stain my face like that.
Yeah, it's a bad stain.
Yeah.
And I don't think people have decided. In the comments, they're a little trying to figure out what it is.
Undecided, so weigh in if you know.
Yeah.
Please let us know.
Yeah. But yeah, Sergio is now going to just soar and it's going to be great.
He's going to be, it's just cut him loose.
Yeah. They really made the right choice by putting Sergio in that seat. Daniel, when he did that test, he was faster than everyone in Silverstone.
Right.
Obviously, that was a bad sign. That's why he...
Dangerous. Danger, Will Robinson. Don't put Daniel in that car.
Don't put Daniel in that seat to help Max get points for the constructors.
No.
Keep Sergio there because he will actually get all the points that Max needs to help out. So I'm so happy.
You're just so happy.
I was actually very, very sad.
Yeah.
I might have got emotional.
Yeah.
And then I just let me grieve, and I am at peace with it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
The rumors around Red Bull always are flying because they're so volatile and toxic.
Yeah. Every 10 seconds, there's a new thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you guys just calm down?
And I'm sure I don't want to put you on the spot, but you could probably list off a handful of people who have been fired from Red Bull this year or let go or abandoned ship.
Right.
And it's clear that this is the most toxic thing in the world.
I mean, ultimately, I think that's the thing that made me feel okay about what Daniel's situation was.
Yeah.
Is that, look, last year, the most dominant car in the sport, Max wins 5 million races of the season.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And Daniel's opportunity seemed like a clear path to a dominant race car, something he's never had.
Yes.
He's never had the best race car on the grid, ever. And so it was like, gosh, all of us want this. All of us want this.
Yes.
He was let go by McLaren. It was so dumb. He goes to Red Bull. We're all looking at the RB19 going, this is his path.
Yeah.
We're getting Daniel back.
Yeah.
And things just spiraled this season. And it wasn't like Daniel is a small cog in a very large machine of trouble.
It's crazy.
And to me, I was like, if Daniel ends up in the Red Bull seat just as this company crumbles, I will be so sad for him.
Yeah.
It would be more depressing if he had made it back to the A team just in time to finish on the podium barely again. It's like Mercedes days all over again for him.
Yeah.
And it was like, what was the point? You fought so hard to be the third fastest car again?
Yeah.
So to me, when things started to go sideways, I was like, well, I mean, you could be worse.
Yeah.
You know, it could be worse. If anything, the thing that's more depressing for Daniel is that he's not at McLaren right now.
Yeah.
If there's anything that's really a bummer, it's that one.
Yeah.
But I think that the Red Bull trajectory right now, in a way, this is probably just making it easier for him to make a decision in the sense of what he'd rather do with his time.
Yeah. And who knows what it will be. I think the
I'd rather him race. I'd rather him race, obviously.
We'd love to see him racing.
Right.
Yeah. But who knows? I don't think he said anything.
No.
I just see rumors everywhere on social media.
I just saw his hat where he says, I'm retired and happy or something like that. That picture. Have you seen that picture?
No, that's amazing.
It's like he's just smiling with his buddies, like in a photo, and his hat says something like, I don't have a job, I'm retired, and just trying to be happy or something like that. And I'm like, good on him.
Yeah.
I should probably figure out what the actual phrase is.
But like, it was really cool to see that helmet exchange with Oscar Piastri.
Yeah.
And the kind message he wrote to him.
Yeah.
It's like, this guy's such a good guy, dude.
It feels the same as like Sebastian. It's a little gone too soon from two of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sebastian was 1 year at Assen, was like, this sucks.
And we have had like...
or 2 years.
And like the people that we don't want to be in the sport stick around. George Russell's been in there for years, it feels like.
Yeah.
For decades.
Lance Stroll, this has felt like centuries
It was like early on when Daniel Ricciardo was kind of like let go, and that press conference where Max was on the couch with Lance. Do you remember that? And they asked for Max's opinion on Daniel being let go. He's like, yeah, like, it's sad, like, or whatever. It's the nature of the sport. There are people that deserve a seat in this sport, but then there's some that don't. And it just like pans over, and Lance is like,
Dad,
were they talking about me?
Dad, I want dinner. Didn't think he was even talking about it, just oblivious to it.
He looked like he was staring off into space. And he is the problem. So funny.
Yeah. But
yeah.
it is too bad.
Yeah.
I wish him the best. I hope he ends up in a race car of some kind.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see him racing again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people throwing around things about Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo was always chasing the best car on the grid. And you can't necessarily blame him for wanting to take risks for all the teams he went to.
Right.
Because other drivers have taken those same risks and it has paid off.
Right.
Like Lewis Hamilton took a risk going from McLaren, a championship team that he just won with,
right,
going to Mercedes, not a championship team.
To a nobody team in that point.
And and if Mercedes didn't pan out, we would be treating Lewis the same as we treated Daniel. Like, oh, washed up. This guy doesn't know anything. It's
right.
like, well, dude.
Right.
He got really lucky and Mercedes was unstoppable.
Right. I mean, there was the one thing that I think Niki Lauda and Norbert Haug and all those guys at Mercedes were able to show Lewis at the time was, you're going to want to come here because we're going to be lightning and everybody else is going to be driving Volkswagen Beetles. So you better come over here.
But
as much as I do want to give Lewis credit for being so smart.
Well, I thought he built the car.
It's by hand.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
It was him.
This is why Ferrari didn't want Adrian Newey. They were like, we don't need you. We got Lewis.
Lewis built all the cars.
It was him the whole time.
He spends his nights building and fabricating engines, his days designing clothes, and then his afternoons just racing the cars.
Setting up the gala. Oh, racing cars. Sorry. Yeah, I did. My bad.
So yeah, it is crazy. It's crazy, man. It's been a wild month.
He spends the days racing the cars, the evenings designing his fashion, the later evenings hanging out, showing that fashion off at Diddy parties. Then
it's true.
He was on the attendance list. Look it up.
He deleted pictures.
Look it up.
He deleted pictures.
He's got white.
So what does
all
that
white
mean?
apparel with
all
Diddy.
White with Diddy saying like, "This is my brother."
I've seen the Yummy music video.
You
guys know what I'm talking about.
How else do you explain the song "Pipe" by Christina Aguilera, featuring XNDNA, aka Lewis Hamilton?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, if that wasn't
Pipe,
if the hand gesture, if that wasn't P. Diddy getting dirt on Lewis, yeah,
I don't know.
Lewis doesn't want anyone to know that song exists.
He doesn't want to know.
No,
he doesn't want anyone to know. We know.
Yeah.
It's basically the Haas Boys intro.
I thought that would be breaking news. I didn't think Lewis would be driving for Mercedes at the U.S. Grand Prix after everyone found out he was at Diddy parties.
Yeah, I thought it was over. Ferrari's like, we can deal with this.
We have our own mob.
This is not the biggest problem we have right now.
Before we talk about the U.S. Grand Prix.
Oh, yeah, because that happened, didn't it?
Yeah, it happened. I want to talk about the fastest lap.
Okay.
Speaking about Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh, yes.
He exited the sport getting the fastest lap in Singapore, which was awesome.
Right.
And that is now the fastest lap ever at Singapore. He got the track record.
Right. Race. Yes, for the race, I think.
I don't know. I don't know specific. I'm a very general watcher.
Yes.
But he took away the point from Lando Norris.
Yes.
And since then, they have now ruled for 2025. They're getting rid of just the fastest lap point.
How dare you?
Isn't that insane?
They're like, they watched that race. They were like, Daniel, don't you know that our boy is coming of age? This is not a time for funny antics. Taking away the fastest lap?
You are from the Commonwealth, and you raced with Brother Norris.
When the note has the Queen, you are responsible to answer to her. Does that seem like something you have done this time, Daniel?
In order to get rid of it, we will get rid of all fastest laps from here until eternity.
To punish everyone for the Australians' antics, we are removing fastest lap.
Once a prisoner of England, always a prisoner of England. This has been proven by Daniel Ricciardo.
The convicts shall not. We're taking championships from our boys with fastest laps.
True. These bogan Australians.
How dare they? How dare they?
That is, for real, I don't know how else to explain it.
It's all that happened.
Rather, the real problem is that Red Bull has 2 teams on the grid.
Right.
That's the real problem.
It is the biggest problem.
Make that the rule.
Yeah.
No team should have 4 drivers.
Sister teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
And keep the fastest lap.
Yeah. But like also, this is not the first time it's happened this year.
When did else happen?
There have been times. Who got fastest lap this weekend?
Your mom. I actually don't know.
Wasn't it like Ocon?
I feel like Ocon maybe.
Let me look it up really fast.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I get this right.
No, but the fastest lap has always been like a tactic for, weaseling one more point, getting rid of a point, or like protecting a point from someone else. It's always been a part of that game. And so it's so crazy that if you can't, you just have one bad experience with it, one weekend with it, and it's just done. Who was it?
So Ocon, since I'm saying it wrong now, apparently it's Ocon.
Okay.
Ocon is 18th position.
Yep.
And gets fastest lap this weekend at the United States Grand Prix. This is not the first time that someone outside the points has stolen fastest lap.
Yeah, no.
So to me, it was funny that like it was like suddenly like, nope, this can't, not a part of the competition anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like anyone could have done it.
Yeah.
Daniel was just the one that did it.
Yeah.
And because he's a capable race car driver with a fresh set of soft tires, he blitzed the crap out of it and made it so it was completely out of reach of everyone.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to see why this is a problem. Even Red Bull's sister team or not, any team could have done it. And it still would have robbed Lando of it.
Right. And it would have robbed Max of it. Like
exactly.
They both didn't get a point.
Right.
In that sense.
If you wanted to, pardon my French, but if you wanted to dick with the championship all year long and you're outside the points, you just put on a set of soft tires at the end of the race.
Because
just to screw the leaders.
Because if you're in 17th, 18th, or 19th, it doesn't matter.
It does not matter.
So yeah.
You walk away with nothing.
You might as well just mess with Lando and Max.
And just set track records everywhere you go. Why has no team done this? This is such a Haas move. I'm surprised. Surprised that Visa Cash App is the one who set this.
Yeah. And because it was Visa Cash App, this Red Bull team, they threw a fit.
Yeah, McLaren's like, all the British.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
You made me get down off my horse for this?
Yeah, I can't believe George Russell.
I spilled tea.
The hall monitor is the one who for sure threw the flare on this.
George Russell.
He's got up in the GPDA or whatever the name of that drivers group meeting is.
Oh, yes. Where he was
like, I have to stand for something. My father and I were watching back the race from Singapore. And Daniel just whooshed on in here and took fastest lap.
How dare he?
Unconventional. Unwelcome. So anyways.
And now it's gone for next year.
It's gone.
So that was, it's kind of dumb. Then what's the point of having a fast lap? Like, it's always fun to see that blue ticker.
Yeah.
Oh, who has the fastest lap? That's fun. Who's going to get another point?
Right.
Now it's just it doesn't matter.
Right. It just doesn't matter.
There's a fun little competitive aspect to the game to kind of like change up some dynamics.
Yeah. If anything, it should have been whoever gets fastest lap gets a point.
Yeah. They should have just done that.
Yeah.
And that would have solved a lot.
Because then everyone from 11th on down would be like changing for soft tires and adding such a crazy dynamic to the end of the
solution.
Yeah.
That would be great.
It'd be so fun.
Sergio Perez could get a point.
He could really contribute.
He could contribute.
He could really contribute.
They might be a little closer to the Constructors' Championship.
It's either a fastest lap or he's in the gravel. It's one or the other. Either way, he's adding a dynamic.
He's finally, but now that Daniel's gone, he will be contributing.
I mean, he's going to spread his wings.
Yeah,
fully
for sure.
going to fly.
I've been noticing Max is pretty happy lately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is weird.
I mean, truthfully. Weird.
Like when he was in the 2021 season, he was angry.
Right.
And volatile and just mad at everyone. But he was competing for the championship.
Right.
For both championships.
Against
Lewis.
Mental warfare games guy.
Now, he is very happy. His championship is kind of on the line. The Constructors is like out of reach now. It's not?
It's not.
You don't think Lando has a chance?
No. Because he's Lando.
Okay.
But anyways,
he proved it at US Grand Prix. Lando just couldn't.
How many pole
It's weird.
positions have not converted into lap one?
So sad.
Leading
So
the race.
sad. Yeah. But I was thinking like, well, Max is the kind of person who is at the company that is failing.
Right.
And he is content because he knows there's nothing I can do. I'm doing my job perfectly.
This is fine.
Yeah.
With the building on fire.
Yeah.
That's him.
Sergio is not doing his job perfectly, and the team is failing.
Sergio's
and
on
he
fire
is
in the
rough.
background.
He is stressing.
Yeah, totally.
But Max is like, my job's secure.
I'm
If
good.
we pull this out, I still have a job.
Right.
If the goes under, I can get a job somewhere else because I look great. My resume is amazing.
Right.
Sergio does not have that.
There's no guarantees for anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But Max is like, yeah, this could go completely belly up and every team still wants me.
Yeah, for real.
They have Lewis Hamilton under contract at Ferrari. That means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I suddenly become available.
Yes.
We got big problems at Ferrari.
Yeah.
We got big problems at Mercedes. We got big problems at Aston Martin.
Yeah. Max could get a job anywhere. He's not worried.
Lawrence will go to the FIA and be like, now listen, Ben.
It's a good impression. It really is.
How about 3 cars?
It's like you're talking from your gut.
It's where it lives, Max. It's where it lives. But Ben, I know that you said that it's 2 cars per team. I'm thinking we had a third. For Max? For Lance.
Max is on the team.
Wait,
We just hired Max.
Actually, can we just push Max to the safety car and say that it counts in the championship?
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that possible?
They'll make
Ben?
that happen.
Thanks,
He'll
Ben.
buy Visa Cash App.
I know you'll
and
make the
just
right choice.
And just split it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. So Max is secure
Yeah.
no matter what happens.
Yeah. It's crazy how Red Bull has imploded. I don't know if any other sport or team or anything that has mid-season been so dominant and then so not dominant.
Imploded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, again, in China, Max was lapping a 1.5 seconds faster
Wow.
than everyone on the track.
Wow.
And everyone was like, this is RB19 all over again.
Yeah, we were all worried.
This is
Like,
going to be a
it's
terrible
done.
year to
It's
watch.
done.
Yeah. I don't know how.
Mhm.
It's skyrocketed in the other direction for everyone else,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm so glad it has.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, it seems like McLaren is not alone. And I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. Ferrari came to the U.S. Grand Prix without any upgrades.
And
And they destroyed.
trashed everyone.
What's going on there?
Freaking love it.
Do you think so? Do we get worried that now Ferrari might make upgrades and throw off their car?
I love that that's where your head went. You're
Right,
like,
'cause
are we
we're-
worried? Because I thought you were going to be like, are we worried they're going to be good now?
No.
And take away all the points that McLaren got?
No, I'm worried that they're going to do what they've done for ever since I've watched it and just poop.
And just go the wrong direction?
Yeah.
So the answer is that is the most likely case. But I think that...
Do they have to upgrade?
Yes, but I think that it's because all the cars go backwards. They all do. Inevitably, if you're not improving, you're slipping backwards.
Jeez.
So, but the thing about the U.S. Grand Prix is that even though there is the swoopy S's and the big long straightaways,
Mm-hmm.
Austin is not like most racetracks because it has so much 90-degree and heavy braking.
Mm.
And so when we've raced in Zandvoort or we've raced in Spa, where these racetracks don't have as many of those, Ferrari hasn't been as strong, but Austin was just an anomaly where they were really, really impressive and had way less tire deg compared to their competitors.
Dang.
So, which I was just really, really excited about.
When Charles in that first corner overtook them all,
Yeah,
it was great.
it was so rad.
And then Carlos Sainz got up there, and then once it all kind of settled into the second and third, fourth corner, and Lando was in fourth, I was so happy.
Yeah, you're just like,
It just thrilled me that Lando couldn't hang on to anything.
you're like, here it is again.
And I was really hoping Oscar would overtake him. And
Yeah,
I
you're
was
like,
"Let's
if
go!"
Oscar had just a slightly better qualifying, he would have been in there.
Yeah.
But, you know, Zach Brown even said it on the pit wall that he expected to be the third fastest car this weekend. And they were.
Interesting. He said that before the race or after the race?
He said it after qualifying.
Oh, okay, so he probably called it.
Yeah. So they knew that from
Which
the
means
practice
they know their
sessions
car
and
really
sprint
well.
and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Just knowing that the characteristics of their car didn't perform
Mm-hmm.
well in Austin.
There's two things there's a lot of things we could talk about for the United States Grand Prix 2024. One of them is, why didn't McLaren just give the spot back at the end? Just play it safe and overtake him. You had a lot more pace.
Right.
You were right behind him. Just take him over you had like 5-6 more laps.
Right.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Why take the risk and then get the penalty? In case you didn't watch it,
Yes.
Max was ahead of Lando for the third position. We have listeners, Mike.
Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
You're such a jerk.
No, I'm just listening. It's my listening face.
Yeah, you're such a great listener. Lando was trying to overtake Max and almost did it around a big apex on a corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then Max pushed him wide off the track, and Lando gained an advantage off the track and got ahead of him and stayed ahead of him. And the decision that everyone was wondering, like, is he going to give the place back, which is supposed to happen, or is he going to risk getting a 5-second penalty because he didn't do it? And he took the risk and then got the 5-second penalty and lost the position.
Right.
When he should have just like let Max go ahead real quick and then attack him on the next lap and get it. He had the pace. Yeah, but he didn't.
I mean, I have a couple of theories, but yeah, you're right.
What's the theories?
Normally, this would be the case, is that you would just give the position back.
Lewis doesn't, but he's different.
Right. But
Lewis
also,
just sails off into the distance off the track.
Right. Right. Yes. Well, and this is the thing that I don't...
British.
Yeah, the thing that I don't understand is that the U.S. Grand Prix was backwards. It was
And that the
bizarro
British
day.
people were getting like screwed.
Penalized
Jeez.
everywhere. And I was like, what is happening? This is the weirdest day ever.
This is the United States.
Yeah, hey, this is more like it. Suck it, George.
Mother England?
Yeah,
You don't have power here.
Yeah, get out of here, you redcoats. To point out more of Lando's flaws,
Yeah.
the issue with Lando's approach to getting Max.
Just using the coaster for my phone and this doesn't have a coaster there.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Sorry for
this
damn-
table's handmade.
By me.
I know, that's why the joke was funny. So, anyways, Lando Norris's approach to racing Max Verstappen is constantly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's constantly wrong. What does Charles Leclerc do when he races Max?
I don't know. Passes it.
Surprises him, passes him. Done. One
Okay.
time.
Okay.
He doesn't freaking mess with him for laps on end. He doesn't do multiple approaches. Charles is decisive. He picks his moment and gets past him. There's no guessing. There's no jaunting. None of it. Charles is like, I will not attempt it unless I can get past. And that's what he knows about Max. Lando gets into the game of cat and mouse because he engages with Max. Something that Lewis was constantly doing. That's why
Right.
they would always
Interesting.
wreck each other.
Yeah.
But Charles is always just decisive. Here,
Okay.
I'm going to just wait now and
Yeah.
just fully surprise Max. And those are the moves that Lando has to make if he wants to freaking beat him.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like 3 to 5 laps of him in DRS range,
Yeah.
destroying his tires, playing cat and mouse. And at no point did I see a move that was surprising. It was always the end of the straightaway, out of the end of DRS zones.
Which are very like cliche places
Right.
to overtake.
But Charles would have like hung on the gearbox, waited for a moment knowing that he's going to be on the outside of this one and be on the inside of the next one. And just
Crazy.
pushed all of the energy and battery power there to make sure that he got past at a spot that Max couldn't then immediately overtake him again. Those are the kinds of things that make Charles the driver he is,
Right.
and the stuff that's missing from Lando's
Crazy.
toolkit.
Okay, cool. I like that.
So that's what I noticed.
I mean, that's amazing. I didn't notice that.
There's no way you're going to get around a world champion with that type of playbook.
Yeah.
You got to be smarter.
And you'd think that there would be an analysts or race engine strategists
To tell him something.
to tell Lando
that.
like
Yeah.
that. Like, look at this.
But they're all so good at developing and building a car that that's not what he's being coached on. You know?
You'd think there'd be one person.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, okay.
But they got
I
people-
know someone they could hire.
Yeah. You know, I was just selling the guys at Faenza jobs at Haas, but you know, if you guys need someone to help coach the drivers, I can jump
Yeah.
in.
Mike is very well suited to a lot of Formula One positions. Shoot. Remember Haas was hiring for race engineer or the team principal
Yeah, for team principal.
or race engineer,
Yeah.
lead engineer or something.
Yeah.
Or strategist.
Yeah, I don't want that job.
But we
I'm not a
were
mathematician.
gonna apply. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, we were.
Yeah.
And just see like what the criteria was and be like, you
I do know
you
that-
got a film degree.
I got a minor in film. One of the criteria was like 6+ years as an engineer in Formula One.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is this on your website?
Yeah. You're like, don't you know
There's
the
only
guy you're
20
hiring?
people
At
that do that.
Aren't you just like in the paddock being like, hey, we're hiring a lead
Yeah.
engineer.
Hey, can you go over to the other garages and see if anyone needs a job?
Is anyone looking to move?
I think Kick Sauber might have some people that want to come over here for real. He's a cat champ. Red Bull might have some engineers that want to come over.
Yeah, Mattia Binotto's in charge at Kick Sauber now, so
For real.
you just go poach.
Yeah. Do you think Haas is just like trying to poach Red Bull people?
I mean,
That team seems to just be falling apart. Yeah.
crumbling.
Like I said, if you're at a company that is tanking,
Yeah.
your resume is online.
Right, yeah. Open to work.
Open to work
Is
at
around your
LinkedIn.
circle.
Yeah.
Like,
Go to Red Bull Racing LinkedIn jobs or career people who work for the
recruiters
company and just like look through all their people are just like open for work. Except for Max. Sergio is not getting any responses
man,
right now.
This has been the big question is Hannah Schmitz going to stay? Cuz
Who's that?
she's the one that's been credited for years of being the brains behind strategy at Red Bull.
Oh.
And she kills it.
Okay.
And there's like the three pillars of Red Bull have been Adrian Newey, Jonathan Wheatley, who left to be team principal at Audi,
Mm.
he was the sporting director, and Hannah Schmitz.
Oh.
And now Hannah, everyone's looking at Hannah like, well, you're gonna stay.
You're the
What's-
last
You're the
last
last man standing.
Wow.
So you either stand to benefit huge from this, or are you gonna peace out?
Weird. I didn't know that. I thought the three were like Christian Horner,
No.
Helmut Marko, and Jos Verstappen.
No, those are the three stooges of Red Bull.
Gotcha.
The three pillars, different group.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't know that.
I'm glad that we have the media side of Red Bull, which is useless, and then the team that was doing everything.
Jeez. Interesting. Okay, we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see if she sticks around.
Yeah. I that's the person I have my eye on right now to see. The team is fully crumbled if she leaves.
Yeah. There's no hope.
There'll be no hope at that point.
The other thing that I want to talk about for the American Grand Prix is Lewis spinning out. Lap 5 or 6.
I think it was 2.
Yeah. I bet the Lewis fans took that well. I bet they were very level-headed and like, what a good joke.
Yeah, they were like, Mercedes! I will have Toto's head!
Yeah.
What? He spun out on his freaking own.
And didn't he say he's never spun out in a race before?
Never.
That's a load of crap because that's how he lost the 2008 championship. He spun off into the pit gravel and got his car beached in China. And that is how he lost the 2008 championship in his rookie season.
We need to find that quote and just put it over him doing that.
Yeah, I've never spun out in a race before. Well, you've beached it. So, anyways, not Lewis Hamilton's first rodeo, despite his best efforts to fool us.
Dang. Yeah.
So
He's not gaslighting us. We know.
We know you.
We know that's the truth. Yeah, weird to see him out.
So early.
Yeah, so early.
And yeah, I mean, that definitely left the door open for Toto
He had a
to
good
come over
start.
the radio and tell George, this is ridiculous, George. Head down.
Lewis had a good start. He was up like 5 positions or something.
Yeah, it was a huge advantage on that opening lap because he snuck through with Charles, basically.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, door open.
What is it about that corner that just doesn't favor the person in pole position?
It's whether or not the person in pole position has any cojones.
For real,
on
though?
whether or not they stay in the lead.
It feels like, so the person in pole is on the right side.
Right.
And that turn goes left, but also it's a huge left that goes almost backwards left.
And it's not banked in their favor either. So it kind of flattens out a little. And like as you go up the hill, if they had done it at the angle that the hill is, then it would have been like, oh, there's so much grip. But because it kind of starts to
It gets on
crest,
top of a hill.
Yeah, it's like, oh, now no one has any grip, and as soon as they get on the throttle, they're going to whiskey throttle it and spin the stupid thing out.
They do an Ocon.
Yeah, exactly. But
Ah,
he's coming to the team next year. Did we talk about that?
yeah.
Anyways, the thing about that corner is that if Lando, you saw what happened. Lando had a better start.
Mm-hmm.
He moved left, and he's still, and you heard Brundle say it, he was like, he still left a Red Bull width on the inside. And Max just went and just outbroke him and pushed Lando all the way off track.
Oh, geez.
So it's like the pole position spot is still the clean side of the racetrack.
Really?
It is the outside.
Because I was thinking, did Max get second on purpose?
So
to get that advantage?
there are a
if the
couple of
track
racetracks
feels like that.
There are a couple of racetracks where qualifying third is better than pole.
Really?
Yeah, Sochi in Russia was that way because there was such a long toe down the straightaway to turn one that if you were in third, you would just hang back, wait, outbrake first, and just take the lead. And so most of the time, the drivers would try their best to get third.
That's a hard target to hit.
It's very hard.
That is crazy.
But they weren't disappointed if they didn't get pole.
That would be wild in this era where it's like first to 20th is just 0.2.
Right.
And so there's like, wait, break,
Yeah,
faster, break.
This is like a classic
break.
Lewis Hamilton move to be like, well, I could let Sebastian Vettel get second, have Valtteri get pole, and I just know what lap time I got to do to get behind both of them. So I'll do that.
Jeez.
That would be like a classic Lewis in that Mercedes dominance era.
Crazy.
But yeah, Sochi had a very specific case like that. There's a couple tracks that do it.
Yeah.
But Coda's not one of those because that long run up the hill kind of would do away with the toe.
I've been to Coda,
and
I remember seeing the start, and it's crazy. The hill's so big, it looks like they fly up into the air.
Yeah, totally.
It doesn't look like it on TV as much.
Right.
But if you used to be able to stand, there used to be like a, what do you call it? A grandstand that faced down the straight. The starting straight.
Oh, okay.
And now it's not there anymore.
Yeah,
this year I was looking
at the top of the hill?
At the bottom.
Or at the bottom. Oh, yeah.
Where they come around the last corner.
Right.
It looks like they've redone that, and there was no one ever there. Whereas like when I went, I stood right there.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a huge hill, and it just goes straight up.
Right.
And then down. It's kind of a cool look.
It's such a crazy corner. But yeah, I mean, and ultimately, it's always easy for me to say from my couch, and also hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
That the better move would have been just to position the car more inside. But that is kind of the case when you're combating 20 cars that are going into the same corner.
Yeah.
It's the first lap. You have to defend the spot you want. And he just missed the apex.
Yeah.
So the bummer for him.
Yeah. Still fun, really fun race.
Great
fun
race.
Weekend. Good sprint race.
I was surprised that it was only the safety car for Lewis beaching it because there was good racing all throughout. The Williams cars, I felt like, were just elbows out on everybody who tried to race them. Like Albon and Colapinto were just like, you can't have this position.
It was really confusing that McLaren had 4 cars on the track. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Alpine showed up with a McLaren livery.
Yeah, and they called it Indiana Jones. It was like, didn't that movie already come out?
Why were they doing that?
Did they release a new one? Am I out of the
year
loop?
ago or 2 years ago? Why did they do that?
Was it an anniversary or something?
Why do they have a sponsorship from Indiana Jones?
I don't know.
They're like, do you know who's American? Indiana Jones. Should we do
Let's call Otmar. He'll know what to sponsor the car for the American Grand Prix. He'll help us.
Should we do like a Stars and Stripes, Cowboy, Texas theme? No, Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Okay, what's it going to look like? We'll just do the McLaren livery.
We'll just make it
do
papaya. We'll just a papaya car for the U.S. Grand Prix.
No, I was very confused, and I'm even more now talking to you. Usually you tell me things.
I don't know.
And I understand that.
I saw the press release for Indiana Jones, and I was like, huh? That looks like a McLaren, and scrolled past.
It does.
I literally gave it no time.
And it was one of those stupid things where like half the time I'm like, oh, the McLarens are like an 18th. Like, no, that's Alpine. So ridiculous.
That Piastri? No, that's Ocon. Okay.
Oh gosh. Why Piastri doesn't spin out on the first corner? Oh,
Esteban.
Esteban.
This makes more sense
Gotcha. So confusing. It was like that when Mercedes and Aston Martin looked exactly the same. That year was terrible.
That season was brutal. It was like, and here goes Sebastian.
Say what you want about Kick Sauber, whatever the company's name is.
Yeah.
You know what car they are.
Yeah. The chroma key green.
Yeah.
Nobody else has got that.
And you can see them a mile away.
Yeah.
Same with the Papaya.
Yeah.
And Haas.
Yeah.
And Ferrari.
And Ferrari.
Those teams stand out.
Yeah. Mercedes, could use a little bit more silver.
Yep. Aston Martin still kind of looks like Mercedes.
Yep. Did you get a Seiko?
I did.
Oh.
I wonder when you're gonna notice.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. I was able to, for Awardco, I was able to get it using like company points.
Company points.
Because they do like employee recognition programs. That's what I work to do.
You know what they do at my company? They tell you to take out the trash.
And
then they're like, do I get employee points? They're like, thanks.
And you hope you don't get it assaulted by a homeless person.
Yeah. And then they throw shat on your Land Rover. If anyone is hiring, I am actively looking.
Okay. All right. This is okay. We got a question.
All right.
I think we have two questions. One's from Sam. We'll read that later. But this is from Rob. We've got a question from him before, which is awesome.
Cool.
And came a while ago. I didn't see it, so it might be a little dated. But he says, with Ollie out qualifying and technically finishing better than Hulk. This is a few races ago.
Yeah.
Can you give some insight on why it would or wouldn't make sense to drop K-Mag immediately? Like pull a Red Bull, get K-Mag out, put Ollie in. Seems like our position in the championship is at risk with Williams grabbing 10th. So it's still applicable. Like K-Mag still struggles to out-qualify Hulk. Except, did he in the sprint race? Was he above him?
I think he might have done better.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Would Haas ever pull like a Red Bull and sack one of their drivers mid-season, put in their reserve driver?
It's a great question because I feel like there's so many elements of this that are to be considered mentally. Okay. So I'll make it brief, but I think that one thing that's tricky about having a driver who's new and Formula 2 and comes in and does these stand-in races and expecting them to deliver what they're doing on one weekend, which is a stellar job, over the course of a season when Ollie has, going to and from F2, has struggled in F2 and has delivered in F1. And he has said, I've heard him say it in interviews, that the F1 car fits his driving style better, which is why he's struggled in F2 and performed in F1. I think that the reason that this would be a really risky decision is that he is going to put his best stuff for any chance he gets in an F1 car to make sure that everyone is backing him. You are the future. You are the new guy, right? And he's going to do that if he gets the seat, but it also comes at the risk of him being not experienced in F2, not getting the opportunity to race that a full season and understanding what it's like to work with his teammate and all those things. Max jumped from F3 to F1. Some drivers are totally capable of doing it. Ollie could totally do it. But I think that there's still so much value in, this is the sport where you're invested right now. You can send it and get the car wrecked into the wall with that team.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of finding that limit in F1 is a little bit more expensive. So make those mistakes there. We'll be ready for you once you've figured it out after a season in F2. That would be the reason why I wouldn't let K-Mag go.
It's probably the reason why most teams don't do that.
Right.
Red Bull seems to be the only team that's doing that.
Well, and they're willing to take
they're
that.
A shining example of teamwork right now.
A great beacon of success. And for those of you who forget, Max, for a number of seasons, I nicknamed him Max Smashstappen because he crashed so often. Yeah. He crashed so much when he was a young driver. In Monaco, he just constant, always running into the wall. So these team like Haas cannot afford constant wrecks. K-Mag not really bending the car. Yeah. We haven't had that many wrecks this season. The car has actually been, they've had a great run this year. So that would be the reason why I would say K-Mag is still worth his veteran status.
I think we talked about on past episodes how getting two really experienced drivers in the Haas seats is helping out develop the car because they can at least drive it consistently.
Right.
And that helps engineer it, update it, and then make it better.
Right.
Whereas like a younger driver, like a Mick Schumacher, we talked about him, why he's not in the seat potentially, is like, he's going to crash it more, probably not as consistent with results. and doesn't know how to quite work with the engineers to communicate things.
Right, to further it.
Just because he's still kind of new.
Right.
Whereas like K-Mag and Hulk, like I said, yeah, they've had years in the sport. And that's valuable to a team who's young and struggling right now.
Right.
To make their way.
Right. And gain as many points and as much sponsorship and all those things.
Yeah.
So I think Ollie's the future, but I think it's all still in due time.
Good question.
Great question.
And good answer.
I would say that his solution is still something that I'm like, it's not a bad idea. But I got my money on K-Mag. That's all.
Yeah. Man, at some point is Red Bull just going to have like a whole bench of drivers? And if one of them barely messes up, they just sack them and throw the new one in? Or does it get to a point, like, are they allowed to have 10 drivers and they can sub them out for all the different races to match the different driving styles? Like, what is the rule?
I don't think there is one.
Because Red Bull seems to just be making up the rules.
I mean, if I were going to parallel it, I'm wearing the right hat for this. But the Dodgers so the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team.
Oh, baseball, okay.
Has 3 starting pitchers out of what is normally like 7 to 9 that are active. Most of their pitching staff is injured. Things like broken toes, shoulder pain, all sorts of weird things.
Okay.
And they are this far going to the World Series and don't have a starting pitcher lineup to be able to compete in a full World Series by going 4 games and then replacing the pitcher every 4 games or however they see fit. So they've done this thing where one of the games, they go, this is a bullpen game.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to start with the relievers and we're just going to use relieving pitchers the entire game. They will pitch 1, maybe 2 innings the whole time.
Wow.
And that has thrown a lot of these teams off balance, and it has worked, and they're going to the World Series.
Wow.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
But normally,
paradigm shift.
Yeah. Normally in baseball, you want a starting pitcher to last as deep into the game as you can, and that's an advantage. So, oddly enough, the thing that you're kind of suggesting is a Dodger baseball trick that's working.
Okay.
So maybe this is a game.
Maybe.
They want Max to win the championship, but the constructor... The only way to win that is to have a whole gamut of people that just sub in occasionally and develop good races for them.
And if a driver could leave the car during a race, they would be switching Sergio out halfway through.
They'd be like, "All right, it's gonna be a 24-second pit stop."
Yeah, he's tanking out there.
But get out,
move. How quickly are they going to fire Sergio after the Mexican Grand Prix?
Immediately.
He has a one-way ticket to Mexico right now.
I mean,
Sergio's just like, where is my return ticket?
Liam finished the points.
I don't see a ticket to Brazil.
Oh, man.
It's because you're staying in Mexico City.
It's because we're leaving you.
Jeez.
I hope you had fun.
Hope your Disney series pans out.
We hope you get a full season. And not in F1, we meant on Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get more points. Fast ones questions. This is mainly for Mike, and this is from Sam.
Oh, okay. Hi, Sam.
Do you think the TV show Wheel of Fortune is ultimately the reason for McLaren's success in the Constructors' Championship?
Pat Sajak? That would be the guy who hosts Wheel of Fortune, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Got that right?
Do you know what he's referring to?
Wheel of Fortune. No, I don't.
Oh,
what happened?
You probably will be reminded as soon as we talk about it.
Okay, give me the story. Give me the lowdown.
Okay, well, he's referring to the fact that Zach Brown won his
that's right.
first ton of money on Wheel of Fortune.
That's right.
And he used it to buy his first go-kart to get him into racing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so distantly, the Google Chrome that's on the wheel of the Mercedes is actually just a Wheel of Fortune reference.
People think it's a Chrome sponsor.
No.
Wheel of Fortune.
It's Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
And Lando keeps landing on bankrupt.
But yeah, that's a fun little fact, and I think it goes around the F1 reel. Circuit
I do remember that now. But I mean, I guess apparently
it's a fun origin story.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got to have one.
Mm-hmm. And if he never won,
yeah,
honestly, probably wouldn't be at McLaren. Right now.
I mean, and would they be where they are?
Maybe because they had success before Zach Brown.
It's really hard for me to give Zach too much credit.
They had crazy success before Zach Brown.
Yeah, I think Andrea Stella has been a killer person to a point,
Mm-hmm.
and I give Zach that credit.
Does Zach own McLaren?
No.
No, he doesn't.
66% of McLaren F1 is owned by the Bahraini Sovereign Fund.
Jeez, you know too much about
The
this
entire company of McLaren is owned by the Bahrain Sovereign Fund, but 66% of the F1 team is owned by them. 33% of the McLaren F1 team is owned by a private equity company here in the U.S.
Okay. Wow. Dang. You knew the breakdown too quickly.
Sorry.
Off the top of your head. That is wild. We have the Mexican Grand Prix this week. Obviously, Sergio's last race. Remember last year how he performed?
Gosh, yeah, he bended on the first lap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because whose struggle at Red Bull is Sergio? Like, whose fault is that?
I don't know.
My question will always be, here's my parting gift for the podcast.
Okay.
For all of our listeners and for you guys to think about, write in, tell us what you think until next week.
Mm-hmm.
Red Bull has never had 2 successful cars. Ever.
Okay.
Ever.
Oh, okay.
The
This is
reason that it
interesting.
had never happened, the 1-2 finish in the championship until last season when the RB19 was that dominant.
That's right. That was
is
the first time it ever
because-
happened.
Because this team does not support a second driver well.
Hmm.
And there have been a number of great names that
Yeah.
have run the second car at Red Bull that have never lived up to the potential that they had at other teams.
Yeah.
And the second that you were labeled driver number 2, it seemed to change.
Yeah.
Sebastian Vettel won 4 championships with Mark Webber as a teammate.
Mhm.
The second Daniel Ricciardo came to the team, Sebastian had nothing for him.
Mm.
So what does that tell you about Red Bull?
Yeah.
There's something up at that team.
Right. Interesting. This is great.
So think
Yeah.
about it next week. Maybe we'll dive in a little more.
Yeah. Send us your comments and questions about that. That's awesome.
That's my thoughts.
Okay. Well, on that note, thanks for listening to the podcast. Follow us, like us, share us with your friends.
Yeah.
We need everyone to know these thoughts and opinions, so share it, get it out there. Watch us on YouTube. Listen to us on Spotify on your way to work. And follow us on Instagram and all the other ones.
And we'll see you guys next week. Or, yeah, next week, because we got a double header.
Yeah.
Triple header.
Really? Brazil's right after?
Uh-huh.
Oh, man, now they're coming too fast.
Yeah, they're coming at us thick and fast. And we're like, slow it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, we'll see you next week.
Okay.
Unconventional. Unwelcome.